Welcome Gemini to your in-depth monthly forecast for March 2025. Your ruler Mercury is right at the heart of the action. At the very start of the month, Mercury is in a very shimmering, mesmeric connection between the North Node and Neptune. But that could create some uncertainties around your worldly interactions. In fact, your worldly interactions this month, Gemini, are going to be very tested with the lunar eclipse, which occurs on the 14th. In fact, just before that, on the 12th, exactly, there is a Saturn cazimi. And that could be when you become much more aware of a burden that you've been carrying for some time that's actually proven quite difficult to deal with. Or it could be where you have a breakthrough moment, either it's then or in the following 6 months, and you're going to seize a much higher position of visibility and perhaps an increase in your influence. Because as we come into this month, Gemini, the energy of last month's new moon is palpable. It provides a backdrop through this month, particularly with having also in the sign of Pisces, along with that Pisces new moon, the fact that it squared off to the traditional ruler of Pisces, Jupiter, in your sign. So that was kind of saying to you, as February came to a close, if you were going to make some claims, it was important that you could back them up. And initially, as you come into this new month, you may still be feeling very inspired. Now, if you are someone who's very gifted with film, photography, graphic art, technology, perhaps you work as a healer, a carer, anything to do with the expression of your imagination is certainly heightened by that new moon and that collective, including your ruler Mercury. But of course, Mercury in the sign of Pisces is detrimented. It dissolves, or at least erodes, its clarity. So since Mercury moved there, it hasn't necessarily been easy. But on the 2nd of this month, the planet of relating, Venus goes into a retrograde. And that suggests when it comes to your alliances, you might be surprised that some of yours could be tested this month. Because although Venus and Jupiter forge a magnificent link through the first week, which could be lucky, because Mercury moves into a very positive place on the 3rd, also in Aries, and also is very close to Venus through the first 10 days of this month, there may be a lot of dazzling communication. But by the middle of the month, if there's any weaknesses in terms of who wants or is prepared to give to the situation, they are going to come very strongly into the open. And the potential for delays or breakdowns in communication is extremely strong, with Mercury inversing from the 15th through to April the 7th. But the big takeout, I think, is Saturn applying to that lunar eclipse, because that energy from the 14th is a backdrop for the next 6 months. If you're putting too much into your work and neglecting your home, family and emotional life, that's going to be something that Saturn's going to challenge you about. But it could be converse. It may be that your preoccupation with home, family and personal needs is stopping you seizing the opportunity to go for a golden prize, because Saturn can reward. Yes, it can be very much the hard taskmaster, but if you've really rolled your sleeves up over the last couple of years, you may have had a breakthrough with its help. It just depends on your unique circumstances. But then on the 20th, we do have a very exciting vernal equinox. They're always exciting. It's the first day of the new astrological year, which is based on the seasons. So the next 13 weeks for you is all about the potential for collaboration and cooperation. The more you go with that, the better it will be for you. But because Venus is in a retrograde and conjunct the vernal equinox, but both the Sun and Venus are angling very positively to Pluto, there is a change that can come about. And it may be to the big picture in your life. It may be that you're going to learn something very important by your collaborations or working closely with other people. But on the 23rd of this month, the link between the Sun and Pluto is almost exact. And because the 11th house, despite the retrograde to both Venus and Mercury, suggesting some slowdown, cross wires, something not quite going as you want, if you're someone who has a very clear vision of where you're heading in your life, and you're actually living through your inspiration, so you're going for your highest hopes, not just the practical and worldly sphere, that's a very significant sextile. But the 27th does see Venus invert back into Pisces. Venus likes being in Pisces more than it likes being in Aries in a technical way, but for you it suggests that diplomacy and a degree of people skills will be important to perhaps dissolve any blockage that came up with the Saturn application to that lunar eclipse. The 29th, however, sees that solar eclipse, the last in the series between Libra and Aries, this one in Aries. So if you can knit together, find areas of commonality, your friendships, your involvements with people from different walks of your life. You may be someone, and it's often the case with Gemini, who can get on with a vast array of different people. And all those different contacts could really sparkle for you off the back of that solar eclipse. But it wouldn't be a surprise if a lot of the discussion and a lot of the dialogue is actually about your professional situation. But by the end of the month, as Neptune steps forward into Aries and Mercury inverses back into Pisces, that's going to be a critical point for you, because we do have in week 3 the Sun Mars forging a very potent link to Uranus. Now, Uranus is in the part of your chart so-called secret enemies, but I think what Uranus has been doing full time since March 2019 is actually stirring up a lot of subconscious stuff, maybe anger at times, maybe irritation, maybe your nerves, maybe it's been difficult to sleep, maybe you felt stressed at times. But in fact, Uranus is about innovation, and the link between Uranus and Mars at the end of this month could see you finding a new way forwards for your financial situation by treading the less trodden path. So doing something really fresh. But as the month comes to a close, you are, I feel, definitely going to be thinking long term. But I think it's your connections to others that are so critical this month, but particularly in your worldly interactions. And if the emotional vibe in certain relationships isn't very good, I feel that lunar eclipse at the heart of this month, more than the retrograde, is really going to test them because of the scrutinizing and demanding energies of Saturn. Have a great month. Please check out your special offer personal horoscope package. You can get your 12-month forecast for the year ahead, but also your life roadmap report. The combination of these two gives you an enormous amount of information. They're great value, totally unique to each person they're produced for, and please see the link below for more. The 30% off.